Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Objectively Your Sports Television. I'm John Mauricio. This afternoon, I have again a well-known personality in the community, and also I was surprised to hear that he is an ordained pastor. And my guest today is no other than Pastor Dale Tippett. Welcome to our show, Dale.
Thank you very much.
Reverend.
Thank you very much. It's actually chaplain.
Chaplain.
It's a long story made very, very short.
Uh-huh.
Started to do services with the veterans community several years ago to help give back to my brethren in the armed forces community that have sacrificed so much. And in doing so, I was also trying to get out there to meet some people to build my business that we're going to talk about a little bit later. But I was offered an opportunity to provide a chapel service at a nursing home. And I said, my goodness, I said I could certainly do that, but I'm not ordained or I have no connection, affiliation. And they said, well, no, that's fine. Let's just do it for a couple of weeks and see how it works as a program, and we'll just have some fun with it. Well, I started to do a chapel service on the north side of Chicago, far north, in 2010, and it ran from the first Sunday in September of 2010 for the next 4.5 years. We never missed a Sunday. So during that time, I had an opportunity to get involved with an organization called Chaplain Fellowship Ministries. And they licensed and ordained me, and it's been a wonderful ride. God is good. So a short time after that, that relationship finally ended, and one of the retirement communities in the northwest side of Chicago invited me to work with them part-time as their chaplain. And so I do have a working relationship, and I love it. So I do ministry as well as my real estate business.
Well, you are, by professionally, you are a real estate broker.
A real estate managing broker, yes.
Right. And how's business lately?
It's been good. The last year and a half, actually, it's been consistent. But now the 2017 spring market, it's really arrived. And a lot of that has to do, of course, with the weather. And, you know, there's been some changes in the interest rates. But the number one thing that makes the markets go is consumer confidence. Mm-hmm. And so as long as people feel that they're going to be working and they've got the ability to go ahead and get a loan if they need one to buy a property, then the demand is always there.
Is the bank lending?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, they're lending. Yeah.
And so that's a good indication.
It is.
How about the interest rate? Any?
Well, you know, but they're affordable. You know, they're within that range. I mean, sometimes they go up, sometimes whatever. You know, they stay put for a while. You know, years back, you know, when it was proven that no matter how high a property value goes up, there's always going to be somebody who wants to buy it. Even when I went into the business, interest rates were sky high. They were double digit, and people were still buying properties. And that was all connected to the confidence that the consumer has that they're going to be working and they're going to be able to buy and make their commitments. On the flip side of that, even if prices collapse like we saw a decade ago and interest rates were like near zero, nobody was doing anything because they were petrified that they weren't going to even have a job. So we've gone through that cycle, so things have stabilized. So interest rates are still very affordable, banks are lending, and the people are working, even though families are working a lot. Everybody in the family's got a job, it seems.
Well, on a scale of 1 to 10, where's the real estate business now?
Well, you know what? It's hard to say because depending upon where you're located and what market segment you're predominantly concentrating on. And I know that sounds probably vague, but the real estate business has changed from my perspective, from what I've seen, in that over the years, you know, not everybody had to be a realtor. You get licensed by the state, so I'm licensed by the state. But then it was a prestigious thing to become a realtor, and then you have ongoing education, community involvement, and so forth through that organization. But now with the increase in technology, there is so much information out there that a lot of the consumers have a lot of the basics. Actually, they have too much information at their disposal, and it gets very confusing. So over time, what's happened is that the markets have become more concentrated in that. I'll give you an example. I hold a designation of Seniors Real Estate Specialist. I built my business working with a more elderly clientele. It's a different, over 55 group, different demographic, quite different from somebody who's, doing a much quicker pace of business on the Lakeshore Drive or the Gold Coast or what have you. And so what happens is that our training reflects that. And so we've got people who are specializing in just working with buyers. We have people who specialize in working with sellers. And then, but there's an overview. So in general, it depends on where you're at, like they always said in that old cliche, right? Location, right?
Location, yeah.
So but it's true. So depends on what the land values are doing, if you, and
Yeah.
the improvements are the improvements. And above all, it depends on being focused on serving your client the best you can.
Well, Dale, you are a real estate broker. You are also a chaplain. Where do you find time to get involved with this
Money
is
Smart.
Money
Yeah,
Smart,
right,
Money Smart.
right.
How'd you get involved with
Well,
Money Smart?
I learned from my corporate work years ago, because I, like so many people, changed careers, and I did mine voluntarily. I had wanted to be an entrepreneur for many, many years, and ultimately that ended up happening. The one thing that I learned though before I left corporate was, they say the old story. I spent many years in an operations environment where you're just working hourly and you get overtime and so forth. Well, then I went into management. And then they give you a raise, right? But then they give you like an assignment that you cannot possibly complete without living there almost. So I learned some lessons during that time that make sure that you go on, at least mentally, a 7-day work schedule in your mind to where you embrace this opportunity. And what happens is all the clutter gets pushed aside and you end up getting focused on what is normal, natural, a good flow for you to concentrate on. And so it becomes a lifestyle. So that's why, again, Money Smart Week for me was an opportunity to help me to speak in public, to share my experiences concerning real estate business and personal finance and life. In fact, I've got a topic coming up. It's going to be at the National Women's Veterans United, which is just south of St. Sabinus Church, south side of Chicago, coming up in April. And that particular presentation is Real Estate, Money, and Life. It's called Adulting 101.
There you go.
Adulting 101.
You're chaplain.
There you have it. It all fits together, and it's really a lifestyle. Any kind of a business entrepreneur, they can. I believe that they would agree that whatever you do, if you're in the restaurant business, you're pretty much going to live at that restaurant.
Well, I was impressed with the. You invited me one time at the Money Smart Week seminar, and I met several Filipinos.
Absolutely.
High-ranking Filipino officials in the Philippines. Anything happening like that again?
They have a kickoff in May before the actual week starts. See, one thing about Money Smart Week, it was started in 2002 by the Federal Reserve Bank here in Chicago. And my personal hero was really the spearhead of this. Her name is Miss Terry Savage.
Oh,
and you can go to,
I know
she's
Terry
awesome.
Savage.
You can go to terrysavage.com and she is she'll answer. She knows everything about personal finance, but she was really the one who really spearheaded this whole project. Well, now all these years later, we're on all 50 states. They have 5,000 programs going on during the week of Money Smart Week. But Money Smart Week is an ongoing program. The week proper runs from the 22nd to the 29th of April this year. But that's where they get all their stats and stuff. That's where you get your attendance and your number and your advertising and how many people came out and your partners and all this other stuff. But the program goes all year long. So you will see Money Smart Week presentations at your libraries or different organizations throughout the
Is
year.
it free? Is it free?
It's all free. There's no sales pitches involved. They do a super job of policing the professionals that come in and vetting them, and it's awesome. And so, prior to Money Smart Week proper starting, they have a kickoff, and they have people. I think when you had come that year, we had the gentleman from the bank in Philippines.
Yes,
I
the
think
governor, Governor Tatang, Amado Tatang.
also, I think from Australia, possibly.
Yes.
And maybe Canada.
And Haiti.
Oh, Haiti. That's right. I remember that.
Yeah.
And so we will have. I'm sure that they'll have a panel similar to that this year.
Well, where is the Money Smart headquarters at? Is it the Federal Reserve? Or?
Yeah, it's in Federal Reserve. Yes.
But you have members throughout the country, though.
Exactly. So the different Federal Reserve banks they cooperate with one another, and the program itself, it's all the same model. So you have volunteers that come and share and serve on committees and participate, but it's a Federal Reserve program.
Is there a criteria for joining the?
The only thing is that the key is that everybody needs to know about money. So we understand that. I work a lot with real estate, and particularly with seniors in real estate. I have a background in personal finance, and I can speak somewhat intelligently on that. But you've got folks that we've got a college debt crisis going on right now. We've got credit card problems. We got identity theft issues. We've got all kinds of, or how do you buy your first home, or what do you do when you're ready to downsize and go into a retirement community, and everything in between. So with that, we need professionals who, from various backgrounds, who can come and share their expertise and teach some of these classes on what people need to know about personal financial, education.
You have several Filipino members.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes,
Yes,
yeah.
we do.
I know some of them, and I'm glad that's through you, though. That
Well, thank you very much.
You know, they gave credit to Dale Tippett for
Thank you.
for recruiting.
Yeah. Well, I've been a longtime friend of the Filipino community it's been many years. And
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, love it.
I know.
Still
What's
am,
our
still
theme
am.
song?
Somewhere beyond the sea. So.
Okay. Anything else that you
No,
could add on?
it's always a pleasure to see you, Joe, and I just invite everybody to go. Two things, you can go in the newspaper. I believe it's the Chicago Tribune will have a print calendar of Money Smart Week for 2017 inserted. However, there's always a digital calendar online. Just go to moneysmartweek.org and look under the various topics to go ahead and attend the classes. And if you are someone who would like to participate in teaching a class, you are invited. Just come and click on the partner button, become a partner, and that's very self-explanatory. Or if you want to host, you don't have to be a presenter.
Yes,
You can have your organization just host a class. And so the opportunity is almost limitless.
All right. How can they get in touch with you if they want to join?
Well, if they want to join Money Smart Week, go to moneysmartweek.org. Moneysmartweek.
You know, we love money so much that I watch them shredded. Millions and millions of dollars.
There you go.
Okay. Again, this is John Mauricio. Thank you very much. Again, Dale.
My
Thank
pleasure,
you.
sir. Thank you very much.
Mabuhay!